Indie games are so damn rad. So many of my favorite games are indie games, or at least started out that way. It's so cool seeing these games made by 1 or 2 or 2.5 people be just as high quality as the giant mega corporations that can pump out games like it is nothing. Some genres are heavily associated with indie games too. For example, because this is the topic of today's video, roguelikes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't really think of any big budget AAA roguelike game made ever, or at least anytime recently. Roguelikes are a genre almost exclusively found in the indie game scene, and good lord are they just so fun. But it wasn't always like that for me. I used to think roguelikes were stupid and dumb, and I'm gonna call out and blame this game for making me think that. Cave Blazers. I bought this game on my Switch back in like 2018 or something, and it was one of the first roguelikes I ever played. I forget if I had played Enter the Gungeon before this or not. It was either the first or second. And I don't know, man, this game left a sour taste in my mouth. It is fun and well made, like I do enjoy it, but there is something about the difficulty and the way it controls that makes it feel so frustrating and like a load of bullshit at times. Could be a skill issue, in all honesty, but whatever. After playing Cave Blazers for a bit to get my money's worth, I wrote it off by thinking, wow, I guess roguelikes are kinda stupid and not for me. I had a similar experience playing Enter the Gungeon on my Switch around the time, but I definitely enjoyed that game a lot more. But I wasn't totally in love with it yet. No, it would take several years for me to rediscover Enter the Gungeon and truly understand how incredible roguelikes can be. Around late 2022 or early 2023, Enter the Gungeon became free for a time on the Epic Game Store, as they usually do over there. I was interested in giving the game a second shot because, as I said, I did enjoy it on my Switch, and it had been many years since I last touched it. I also thought that maybe playing it on my PC with a mouse and keyboard might make me like it more, better aim and stuff, you know. So, I downloaded it and started playing it. And then I just kept playing it. And then I played it even more. And then I started skipping class just so I could play more Enter the Gungeon. Okay, don't worry, I didn't actually skip my awesome college classes to play video games. I skipped class because I get bored and I think it's funny. But yeah, this second time around, I absolutely fell in love with Enter the Gungeon. Being a bit older and more seasoned really let me appreciate just how well made the game was and the roguelike genre as a whole. And so today, I just want to talk about roguelikes and mainly Enter the Gungeon and why I love them so much. And why I assume everyone loves them too. I've been wanting to make a video about this game for a long time now, and I think with the recent announcement of a true sequel, it really lit that fire under my ass to finally do this. Okay, let's get into it. So, in case you are completely unfamiliar with Enter the Gungeon, let me explain it a little bit. This game is a bullet hell shooter roguelike thing dungeon crawler game. I mean, you can pretty much see how the game plays from the gameplay I should edit in here. The goal is to traverse the mysterious Gungeon with all of its funny enemies to find what you came here for, a gun that can kill your past. There's a handful of different characters to choose from, all with their own starting gear and abilities and pasts to kill. Now, the main thing with the Gungeon is that it nails the most important aspect of any roguelike, replayability. As the title would imply, this game is all about the guns, and good lord there are so many different guns to find in this game. You are always going to get something new or unique every time you start a run. There's a good amount of normal guns to find, but what I like are all the goofy ones that barely qualify as a gun. For example, I found this when gathering footage for this video. A third-party controller gun. I had never seen this weapon before. And what does it do? It lets you take control of an enemy and let them do the dirty work for you. Completely unreliable and situational, but really funny and unique. This is the kind of stuff I love to see. There's also countless references and stuff like that you can find too, especially in the weapons department. Like, this is just Samus's arm cannon, and it is crazy strong. In addition to finding new weapons, there are also plenty of items to find. Some of them give you passive benefits, while others you have to use. Honestly, I don't get a whole lot of use out of the active items, but they can be helpful in certain situations. Like the Marine starts with an active item that lets him call in an ammo drop, That's pretty useful, honestly, even though it's a one-time thing. The passive items are really where it is at here. These things can give you a whole bunch of different buffs and things that really spice up your gameplay. There's a lot of items that give your bullets different properties, like making them fatter, bounce off walls, set enemies on fire, etc. I think my favorite set of passive items are the ones that give you different effects after flipping over a table. I just like to flip tables for the fun of it, so being rewarded for it makes my day. But long story short, Enter the Gungeon has gallons of items and weapons for you to find that really make no run feel the same. You're always working with a different set of tools and figuring out what works best. And as is usual with games like this, the floors and rooms are always randomized every time you play the game too. This isn't that groundbreaking or revolutionary, I thought I just mentioned it. All of this adds up to make the game have a lot of replay value. And all of these things are stuff you can find in other great roguelikes too. Enter the Gungeon just does it really well and I love it. But there's one feature I haven't mentioned yet that I feel helps the game be even more unique and add even more replayability. During your average run, you'll be constantly vacuuming up every item you possibly can because why wouldn't you? But sometimes, you'll notice that when you pick up an item, it displays a little blue arrow over you. This is a synergy. Having certain items in your inventory will have them synergize with each other and make them stronger. It could be that picking up a passive item synergizes with your gun, making it look cooler and deal more damage. While really simple and easy to understand, I believe this little mechanic adds a whole new layer to the replayability you can have in Enter the Gungeon. It just adds even more new stuff you can discover. I know there are still countless synergies I've yet to discover because there are just so many items in this game, and I feel like I always get really unlucky and never get enough keys to unlock all the chests I come across. But anywho, synergies are just really freaking cool. I'm always looking for new items and I'm always looking for new synergies. One that I recently discovered was that by having a flare gun and a table tech item that set nearby enemies on fire when I flipped them, the range for enemies being set on fire massively increased. It would basically affect the entire room, just setting everyone on fire. If you haven't noticed, Enter the Gungeon does everything right when it comes to being a highly replayable roguelike. It has got everything you could ask for on paper, but the gameplay? Nah, I'm just being misleading because I'm evil and miserable. The gameplay is also really fun and solid. You can probably tell how the game plays just from watching some gameplay, so I won't waste too much of your time dissecting it. You run around, shoot enemies, and do a bunch of dodge rolls and table flips. It is all very simple, and that's because complex movement would completely ruin the game. This was made to be an easy to learn, difficult to master type of game. Remember that Cave Blazers game I mentioned at the beginning of the video? Well, I feel that game does kind of a piss poor job at being tough but fair. It just feels sloppy and gross. It was because of my experience with that game that made me think all roguelikes are just bullshit RNG fests, which clearly isn't true. Enter the Gungeon obviously has a lot of RNG, but it does not ruin the game by any means. Every mistake that you make feels like your mistake, not the game slapping you across the head with a brick of cement. Anytime I would die, I didn't feel like I was cheated, I knew I just had to learn more and get better at the game. It may take a while for you to get used to dealing with the millions of bullets that can be on screen. I know it did for me. But what I love about those bullets are how every single projectile an enemy has is always made extremely clear by being the bright white with the red outline. You always know what to avoid and can see the danger clearly. Never have I had a time where I confused my bullets with the enemy's bullets. It's just little design choices like this that really make me appreciate how well made Enter the Gungeon is. Everything about the gameplay is super solid, and I really don't have any gripes or annoyances. Okay, I think so far I've really talked about only the gameplay stuff, which is the most important thing after all, but there are still some other Gungeon related things I want to glaze harder than a baker's dozen of Krispy Kreme. I am a huge sucker for some nice sprites and pixel art, and I really love the style that Enter the Gungeon has. This is one thing I'm concerned about with that sequel teaser showing that they are jumping to a 3D art style, but I'll need to see more footage before I can judge it. I'm just really fond of Enter the Gungeon's whole aesthetic. I'm not good with describing these type of things, so I apologize. Everything just feels perfectly cartoonish, I think. It's the perfect style for a game all about crazy guns and funny gun-themed enemies. I love the simple designs of all the playable characters, my favorite of which is probably the robot. It's even more simple than the others, but it gives it that quirky little charm that I like. Also, his little dodge roll has him kind of hit his big head on the ground instead of doing a very graceful rolling motion. It's just kind of funny. Another important thing I value in a game is its music, and I really like the Gungeon's music. It's perfect for setting the mood of fast-paced shootouts. Hopefully, future me has used a bunch of it as background music for this video so you can get a taste of it. Also, the main theme is just straight up awesome. It's like a whole song full of energy that just gets you pumped up to do one more run. The soundtrack is great, I have no complaints. And also on the topic of ear-related things, the sound design is also great here too. Just throwing it out there because I know someone was begging for me to say that. But yeah, I think that is a pretty good general overview of Enter the Gungeon. It is an insanely well-crafted game that really opened my eyes to how awesome roguelikes can be. And don't you worry, because there is still a ton of stuff and secrets I didn't even mention about the game. I mean, I am still discovering things and finding new items here and there. There are still so many roguelikes I need to try out. I mean, I haven't even played Balatro yet. That shit was so good, it got nominated for Game of the Year in 2024. And I love gambling. But my current roguelike addiction has actually been a fan game, Pokerogue. It is Pokemon turned into a roguelike. And it has no right being as fun as it is. I could make a whole video talking about it, it's so good. I'm actually playing it right now. But I would have never realized my love and unhealthy addiction for this genre of video games if it weren't for Enter the Gungeon. I cannot wait for the sequel to drop next year. Maybe I should try Exit the Gungeon in the meantime. I don't know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to me talk a bunch. It really means a lot to me. And as always, have yourselves a good day. Robots right here.